is a healing for allergies and asthma and problems related to the respiratory system that also have a relationship to the immune system. There are two types of reactions. One are reactions to particulates in the air that actually really are damaging, and reactions to particulates in the air that really aren't damaging, but the body's reacting as if they are. Looking into the field of the collective. Feeling an activation of discernment or discrimination in the Mahamarma area of the chest. We can call the heart chakra, but the heart chakra is smaller and the Mahamarma is like big. Discrimination, discernment, and balance. And there's a matter of setting healthy boundaries. You might notice that allergies are worse when you're under stress. Asthma too. Asthma attacks can be triggered by stressful experiences or experiences that are interpreted as dangerous, fear-inducing. When the immune system kicks in and tries to fight against something which isn't necessarily an enemy, such as pollen, what's happening is the body kicks into fear mode, and then from fear mode, it kicks into an anger mode or like an aggressive attack mode, which is interpreted physically as a hystemic response in the body. So what we're doing in this healing is we're looking into those trigger points, like what is that element in the environment that triggers that response, and how can we bring enough discernment into that point so that when the particulate is in the air and you're breathing it, that the body does not interpret that as a dangerous experience or life-threatening or a problem. They're habits of responding. What I'm seeing is a lot of these habits are in the emotional levels of the body, and they are related to they're emotional triggers also, where situations and circumstances arise that seem threatening. And they seem threatening because there are long habits of not dealing effectively with those particular problems, and those long habits of not dealing effectively, therefore it's a problem because I tried to deal with it and it didn't work. Those habits go back ancestrally, and I'm seeing for most people in this healing going back about 6 generations, at least 6 generations of ancestors who didn't feel that they had the resources or capabilities to deal with certain types of highly charged emotional problems. Like when people disagree about stuff, when you get personalities where one personality is a little more dominating and the other is a little more submissive, something like that. And there's the individual gets into a habit of not setting healthy boundaries, but always just backing down and backing down and backing down. That's that cycle. Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. If the healthy boundaries aren't being enlisted or applied at the relative level where we interface with our environment, then what happens is excess boundaries get stuck in the system physically. The process of breathing is a means by which the individual interfaces or interacts with the environment. Obviously, air is something that we all hold in common at a very intimate level. And when the air comes into the body, it's so intimate. It becomes the body. The oxygen goes right into the bloodstream. It goes right up to the brain. It becomes part of the body. When we breathe out, that intimate material that's been experienced as one's own self goes out into the world. And it's not just the air that goes out into the world. This center of the body, this chest center, is your essential truth. It's the center of your essential truth. It's the heart center. It's the feeling center of the body. So when we breathe out, regardless of what we want people to think of us, regardless of anything we might be projecting into the environment, the essential truth of the being comes to the environment. So if the individual feels that they're living in situations and circumstances, often with people that they're close to, family members, or at work situations, something like that, and healthy boundaries aren't in place, and one is feeling exploited or underappreciated or not recognized, misused, even abused, then what happens is in here, and this would be the center of the immune system, is the thymus right there, in this chest area, the truth is I need more and want more boundaries. And so what the body does is it starts constricting on itself and trying to create more boundaries from right here. And then what happens is you become the one who suffers most from those boundaries, rather than being able to set them in a nice, kind of like a dignified and appropriate manner in the environment, so that you know when you're at work or when you're talking with that particular family member or whatever, that you're safe. This is the important thing. It's an issue of safety, basically. And so because think about it, the body's responding as if it's going to war, basically. It's saying, here's some little thing from my environment, which shouldn't bother me. And we've been trained to believe that it shouldn't bother me. You know, there are a lot of interpersonal relationships that come up where one feels like, well, that person has a disagreeable personality and they're very hard to get along with. They always want things their way. So I'll give in and I'll bend and I'll be giving, and I will be at my high level of compassion and empathy and mercy for everyone in the environment, even though I'm not being treated that way. And that's the correct way. Essentially, yeah, I mean, what you do affects you a lot more than it affects other people. However, there's something to be said for self-protection. If we let someone else get away with bad behavior and do something that's exploitative, cruel, thoughtless, etc., then essentially we're participating in their problem with them. We're engaging in that karma. Even if we wouldn't do that sort of behavior ourselves, it doesn't matter. If we're letting them walk all over us, then that also is not good. So, offering that the discrimination comes from here. This is what this download was at the beginning of the healing. The discrimination in the heart center. Because the discrimination in the heart center will help you recognize whether something that's coming from the environment is really a problem, which you need to take action. Or if something coming from the environment is simply present to support or incite, like a catalyst, evolutionary transformation. Because both things happen. And all of us, it doesn't matter how evolved or unevolved or where you are in your process, that's irrelevant. What's important is that all of us are continuing to evolve and grow. And that means essentially letting go of the old sense of who I am and accepting a rebirth or a rebuilding of the new sense of self, which is better aligned with cosmic evolution. It's better aligned with the ability to embody your own divinity to its fullest potential. Thank you for being with me. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you get tremendous relief from your allergies and asthma. Thank you.